They were like offended, but like even if they
They
were
were still watching.
that would not have stopped you.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so there's levels to bombing. Okay, right?
Tell me about this, because
So like the worst that he's
there's something about
that was a weird like.
there's,
Well, I don't know.
There's something about video games that make me like when I do bad at them, I'm like something has to suffer.
Yeah.
I want to break something.
Actually, like one of the most satisfying experiences I've ever had in my entire life. 2K virtual basketball.
Yes.
I had like a bunch of like Mexican roommates.
Oh, nice.
And like if you ever beat somebody darker than you at 2K, it's emotional. For
They're like,
them.
you cheated.
It's pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Connie's Untitled Nighttime Talk Show. Your guest tonight is the first person that I've had in my bedroom that I haven't tried to have sex with. Don't
yet.
look him in the mouth. It's Stephen Reed. We got a soundboard now.
That's beautiful.
Yep, we're learning.
Oh, it's good to be here, man.
Yep, Steven's late. What the hell happened?
Yeah, family outing on one side of the house, and then youth basketball on the other one. So went
just
took my oldest. Yep.
Managing a herd of children.
Yeah, so I went from like a herd of athletes to a herd of children. So basically what happened is I coached my son's team, and
okay,
they're not. Let's not shout them out.
we
They don't
say
need to know
that?
about this. No, we shouldn't.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, cut that part. I coach my kids' basketball team. So we had games in Fayetteville. We had 2 games in Fayetteville, and then the plan was the games were done at 5. And I'm going to drive to the Jones Center where the herd of children is that we talked about.
Yeah.
Where they were at a birthday birthday party.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll get there at 5:30 and they'll already be in the car. They weren't. They were still in the and I just waited and waited, knowing that they're trying to get 5 children.
Oh man.
2 of them under 2. And so it just took a minute.
That active waiting stuff is pretty tough.
Yeah, we were playing chess on one of those big chess boards, and like my son is like, how do we play this game? And I'm like, I don't I'm like, you can move the pawn 2 on the first. And you know what? It's weird. I played chess with my 9-year-old for 15 minutes and didn't beat him. Like, well, Did
you crowd the middle or like?
I actually lost a knight. He took one of my horses with a pawn.
Those are like one of the most what?
Yeah, it was bad.
Chess is like one of the only things that, and like physical violence is like one of the only things that I have over my nephews currently.
Yeah, I can't play chess very well.
Like they're like juniors and seniors in high school, but they still look 14 because whatever the hell we're putting in the food now.
Yeah.
And yeah, like chess is like one of the only ways that I can.
You can assert dominance over them that way. You can beating someone in chess really quickly makes the other person feel
bad.
The worst. Like you feel like a moron.
I'll tell you what. One of the nerdiest things I ever did though is like one time I was out on Dixon Street, and no bullshit, the captain of the chess team at the U of A is a guy that like challenges people at bars to games.
Really?
So
that's his thing. Yeah. Very nerdy.
So I got done like I was hanging out, and he challenged me. And
does that guy have nephews? And he doesn't have any nephews to challenge. Like he says that.
I guess not. No, or maybe he's
bored with the little children.
Something else. But a guy comes up to the bar, challenges me to a chess game. It's like we're at a bar, all right. And then I agree to it because this is ridiculous.
Because you don't want to feel like a pussy.
Well, no, it wasn't that.
This.
It's like I know that he's a pussy. It's like I know that we can,
Who's the pussy in this matchup? We'll find out.
Who's the alpha puss?
Alpha brain.
Yeah, right. And then we tied.
Really?
And he was shocked.
That means you both suck at chess, by the way.
No, he said he was the captain, so it means I think we're pretty good.
Yep. SEC. The SEC, we're really good at football. I don't know how we are at chess. I don't know how good we are at chess. Yeah. It's just one of those things that Arkansas will like, any of the sports that people watch, the Hogs are terrible in. And it's like, they'll be like, hey.
I have a bit.
It's like, dude, football and basketball are the two sports that everyone cares about.
Here, yeah.
Everywhere.
Well,
on TV.
no, like let's just localize it.
We'll localize it.
Let's say it's just the state of Arkansas.
So is
top sports football,
not intellectual,
and well, no,
not chess.
Not that. That's not what. No, we'll name one place where that's the number one sport.
Princeton.
Okay, that's not a state. Like, and then again, like even then, like there's probably more people who are like into the Jets than there are chess. Like
it's very true.
So, well, not if you. Actually
I can't remember where I was going with that. I guess I was saying chess captain. You play the chess captain and you tie him.
Yes.
If you played the football captain, would you tie him in the game that he challenged you to?
Well, I don't know. So we were talking about like shout out to Robbie Stocker, Cathedral State champs. We just lost the state championship this year, but holy fuck, twice in a row. It's a Catholic school. You can't swear. Yeah. There was one guy that I played hockey with that was like better than everybody, and he ended up being like he still plays in the pros.
Really?
Yeah, and I beat him in one drill only.
Good.
You know,
I've done that before.
He learned really quickly. You know, this kid was a natural, but like the drill it was kind of like I don't know what to call it. It was as close as you could get to a fight without actually like taking your hands off the sticks, right?
Yeah.
It's like keep away with a hockey puck.
Yeah.
You know, and he was just revving up to like knock me out right as soon as the coach like dropped the puck, and as soon as he like jumped to like try to kill me, I was just like, "Olé!" You know, and then he fell on his face.
Nice.
And then I won that round, but then he beat me every subsequent round.
Yeah,
Shout out to Nate Schmidt. I don't know what team you play for. Did you know that Ovechkin is actually like the greatest? He's like probably less than. Last time I checked, he was 16 goals away from like the points record.
Why is there only one town in this area that you can talk hockey in?
What do you mean?
Like you can talk hockey in Springdale.
Well, it's because that's where the ice rink is.
Is it still there?
Yeah, it's the Jones Center.
I was just there. I was looking for the ice rink.
You didn't see the ice rink?
It's still there. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Baby!
Who's that strange car in the parking lot with a bike rack? It must be a woman.
We're having a party.
But yeah, it's like when I first moved here, I thought that everyone played soccer, and I was really bummed out because like all the that was where the mass group of kids were at the middle school, and I never played soccer, and I was trying to establish myself, establish my dominance as the new kid in school, and I was like, dude, I got to learn how to play soccer. And there was a neighbor kid that was like 2 years younger than me, and he could beat me in soccer. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't...
Buy a gun. That's what... Yeah, there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Bubums. Just touching tips.
What's up?
I went full studio setup this time because... Yep, I made that.
You know what's fun about having the podcast is like adults. It'd be weird if you said, hey Steven, want to come over and play?
Okay, so
you know what I mean. This is us playing as adults. I was thinking
about this while I was peeing. It's like, hey, you want to come like video record a tea party?
Right. You should should seen that. As I was handing. So first of all, when I left the Jones Center, I think about this. I passed off a child into a car that there was not enough seats in for all the people in the car.
Oh.
And
like, not.
I know, but like, think about it. Like I dropped them off, and I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go play with my friend Conrad for a little while.
Huh? You have friends?
And because it's under the guise of like comedy,
right?
Production.
Yeah.
It's like loosely writing off a tax write-off.
You want to know what's going on right now? You want me to tell you what's going on right now? All right. So that's a Super 55. And this is a MXL 990. I had to like trim the lows on this one because it takes phantom power. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're doing a job right now.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. I mean, you put it
yeah. And after watching, shout out Joe Means, do that open mic over at the new place. Making it look easy.
It doesn't look
the job.
you know, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, no one can see it right now. It just looks like we're not doing anything to, like, you know, my wife. She's just like, you know what? I'm gonna just this turns into an argument if I dispute it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so I'm gonna choose to pick this battle.
No,
I'm not gonna pick this one. The only reason I'm here right now, and the reason I'm able to do this, because her friend is here.
Hey.
So there's someone else
to
that
soak up
that can
all
be
the
there. She's not.
emotional-
Yeah, and they're complaining about me right now, and
Oh my god, he's he's gone all the time. He's trying to do jokes. I don't get it. He's
Yeah.
an accountant or some shit.
yeah,
He should be doing.
It's-
Do you do anything that you actually enjoy? No.
yeah, I do. It's like, well, like, you know, this is all part of, you know, what is this really? Like, I have, it's not, I don't want to say like, okay, where am I going with this?
I mean, you got duties.
I got duties, dude. We're artists.
No, I mean, well, you were in a legal contract with another person.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I mean, there's also a duty to that too.
There is.
Yeah, like
This is extra. I'm gonna have to pay for this.
Like,
This is gonna cost me something.
what?
I'm gonna have to.
This one?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to, like. We're gonna have
buy
to.
flowers. Or
We're
like,
gonna. Well. We're gonna have to have
to-
sex when I get home.
Guess what? Sounds like a win-win to me.
But it's gonna be like a
Should I
payment.
release this?
It's gonna be like a payment thing. Like, it's an obligation.
That's true. Yeah.
Because that's, you know.
Nothing's better than obligation sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big thing in the marriage world. You got to do it every now and then.
Well,
man.
you know, a chore's a chore.
That's right.
We gotta get it done. You know, and it's finding purpose within that. You know, which is that's how you. That's the stoic way to.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all right.
Well,
But yeah, I'm gonna pay for this. She's letting me, out of the grace of her own heart, come here.
How many kids do you actually have? 3?
4.
4. Literally 4?
Literally 4.
I've been joking saying 5, and it's only 4.
Yeah. 5. Like, you know what's wild is that, like, that's every time that. So one thing I changed. I used to do.
Got a vasectomy.
I used to do. Nope.
Squats.
One thing I changed, one thing I learned, so I used to open up that 4 kids bit with, like, the I know it's too many. Mm-hmm. And it fell into that category of, like, you know, when you presuppose a reaction from the audience and there's someone in here that's like, I have 7. So now they don't think this is funny.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
I kind of scrapped it for that reason. Cause, like, I have 4 and it seems weird.
people with 7 kids, that's the one night they get to go out. Unless they're Elon Musk, in which case, what are you doing going out?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be running America or whatever. I shouldn't have said that. That's going to get a bunch of traction for the wrong reasons. Boop.
I want to, I know people with, like, you know, 5, 6, 7 kids, and, like, at a certain point, you need, like, a commercial utility vehicle.
Yeah.
For the whole thing.
Like
you
a
know
bus. Like a literal short bus.
That's what you need. And, like, that's, like, to drive that thing around.
Or like a team of people.
You're driving that thing around. You're like, what's this business that I see in front of me? The double doors open up on the back, you know? It's like,
well, here's my observation.
There's a ladder on it.
You know, when I first came to Arkansas, it was my first experience with modern, what I'd call farm families. Where, like, they've got enough of them to do labor.
Yeah.
Except now none of them are doing labor.
I know.
And, like, if you have, like, too many kids, call it, like, somewhere between 5 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically speaking, there's going to be one that you don't want to talk about. Because he's the worst.
It's the one you messed up. It's probably one towards it's okay.
No, I'm saying that, like, if you're talking about, like, psychopaths, sociopaths, mental illness, if you want to call it, like, 10%, you know, like, you're really rolling the dice every single time. And if you do that, like, 10 times, like, as, you know, like, okay, here's something about me. Like, you know, I had an older brother that, like, died of SIDS. You know, and I didn't realize that until I mean, I knew that. It's just that he has the same name as me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until I was like 24. I was like, whoa. I mean,
Mulligan.
I like switched it up. Like one was a front and a middle, and the other one was a middle and a.
How many siblings do you have?
I've got a little brother, older half brother, little brother, a little sister.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so like
And then I got nieces, nephews, well, etc.
I think like so like if you have the because like people are having like one kid and they're like this is it and because and they always have like well financially we can only afford one and I don't adhere to that logic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care.
Necessity breeds creation.
Yeah. Like yeah, like I had one kid and I was
what am I gonna do?
And I was like
sure, here's another one.
and I was like he's healthy, but he's not very competitive. So what can we do to change this? You know what I mean? Like that's why it's like
You don't want to have an only kid.
no.
I think like my parents hit the sweet spot to give them credit.
3.
To give them some credit, yeah, because there was competition. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah.
What's funny about that is like as you get older, the competition skews. Mm-hmm. You know, the horse in the front doesn't always.
You don't always win the race.
Yeah, my little sister's
And that's fun.
on,
You know what I mean? You don't like. Did you imagine watching a horse race with just one horse? You're mad at the one horse the whole time.
I don't know, dude.
You're like, dude, this horse is not fast enough. Like, let's get.
I like horses. So like, no, okay. So me and my
This
buddies,
horse could be faster.
Me and my
if you had
buddies-
another horse chasing him, how much faster could that horse be?
So like
Let's
right
make this a
after
race.
right after the latest ice storm, me and my buddies ended up going to Hot Springs. You know, at whatever Downs.
Yeah.
And we got over there, and we got to see like
Redneck
they had to
Downs.
delay. Yeah. Well, they were the richest rednecks I'd ever seen.
I know.
Like it was bananas. And you get to watch the horses like trot around, and then like
Those-
as soon as they get to the shade, you can see that the dirt is harder. And 'cause it's all-
Those environments make me sad. Like
Why?
slot machines make me sad.
Oh yeah, obviously. I mean, like
Slot machines and people gambling it bums me out.
excuse me. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
but you got to look for
I don't gamble.
what?
I can't
You
enjoy.
have 4 kids.
Well, I know. I'll gamble on that, but I won't gamble.
in life.
But I won't gamble with money. Like I just feel
It's exhilarating.
yeah, I know. But I always feel like when I gamble, whatever I said, the universe is like, Steven threw money on that game, and now we're gonna make it go the other way. I can't enjoy it. Like I can't enjoy anything when my money's on the
experience
line.
with gambling is like I don't know. I used to live in like right next to the border of Oklahoma, and it was right there. You know, like
Yeah.
I'd come back from home, and it was always
That
right
really
there, so
bums
whatever.
me out. The truck stop casino.
No, it was a regular ass because it was an Indian casino.
Is it the ones? Oh, it's in
It
Oklahoma,
was a
right?
Cherokee casino. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the.
Yeah. For what you guys did. Thank you.
Sorry for moving you 8 times.
It's like a military family.
But the casino, yeah. So every once in a while, I had one night, right? And this
Yeah.
is what basically.
Yeah.
I had one night where I went in and I was like, okay, $150, and then I set a timer on my phone for like an hour and a half, and then I took a microdose, and then I was, and then I like took a one hitter, and then I walked in there, and I sat at the blackjack table and walked out with like $800 in an hour and a half.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the time after that I lost, the time after that I lost, the time after that I lost. Like
It's like they pick certain people out and they're like, you know what?
it's not that.
It seems like that though.
It's math, really. Like I don't know. Like I used to play Texas Hold'em over at the casino, and every once in a while that was kind of tough because it's like if some like I don't know rough looking dude comes in there and goes all in on a bad bet, and you call him on it, and you take all of his money in 5 minutes. That's one person out in the lobby that you don't want to meet.
Right.
And now you have all of his shit. So it's like, now you have to make it to the car.
Yeah.
Like, this is, and that's a weird dynamic.
More trouble than I asked for.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel as sweet as I thought it would be.
But usually at the Texas Hold'em games is that at that one specific place, there's little signs that you should definitely pay attention to. It's like if a guy's got a thing says poker.com, you can't bluff him.
Nope.
It's bullshit. Like, yeah.
It like I just feel like I'm always missing like there's always one thing that everyone else knows that I didn't know before I placed the bet. And that's how I feel like every bet goes. And so like, yeah, I had like,
It'll take me another year to understand craps.
yeah, I'm not like that's how I'm going to lose it all. Not win. There's no world in which I'm like gonna.
So you have an addictive personality is what you'd say?
Kinda. Oh, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like kinda, oh, for sure.
Yeah, no. It's like
It's a stutter step.
It's
Yes,
I
definitely.
don't ever want to have to gamble, and I feel like if I start gambling, eventually I'll have to
I
gamble.
don't think there's ever a have to gamble. That kind of goes counter to the idea of like what you're doing in the first place.
Yeah,
Like,
I've never had enough
like-
money to gamble,
well,
so let's call it
'cause-
that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, right? No, there's direct,
That's really what it is.
direct consequences.
I've never had
immediately next
exactly
week
like. There's no
'cause-
world. I'm like, that's okay.
Now
$50.
this kid's just crapping his pants because they keep coming out.
It's not fun.
Yeah,
It's
right. But getting back to I think that once you have a certain amount of kids, like one of them turns out to be whatever the worst.
I'll tell you one thing that
Duggar
I'll
is.
tell you what I've noticed is like your I guess I feel like at least when I was having kids, I was like, this one will be like genetically just better than me, and then like they're the same as you. They start out like you can see yourself and your stuff in them.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, oh, I have to deal with this thing. Like I gave him something.
Oh no, this is the second.
Like I gave him
my
something.
problem squared.
There was like a lack of confidence sperm that went into and fertilized that egg. You know what I mean?
Oh jeez, I don't know.
There was addictive personality in there that went in there to make this. It's all.
It's almost like apples and trees, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. You think that you like,
Well-
and I don't know if when you get better as a like when you get older and you learn things, does that change what you're putting out? You know what I mean? Or is it still the same ingredients every time? You know what I mean?
That
And you
when
just
you
become
get
wiser.
older, the likelihood of autism goes up.
Not for a woman getting pregnant and having a baby late,
Yeah,
like a later
No,
baby.
I think that's what happened. To
No, I mean like just like you have you have a child and you have issues and all the issues go into that child and then you get rid of those issues and then you have more kids. Do they still get those same things? It's like generational.
It depends on the.
That's what I think is. I think they do.
Actually, it depends on the batch. Okay, and this is actually like this is a experiment I wanted to do if I ever like had enough money to do it. Is like I'd get stoned one day and then I'd jerk off in a bottle, and then I'd get drunk one day and then I'd jerk off in a bottle, and then I'd like do sober October, and then I'd do jerk off, and then you do them all IV like Elon, and then you race them.
Yeah,
You know,
it's really
you
fun.
see, yeah,
That would
it's
solve
like
that experience.
Math skills, yeah, because okay, so here's my theory: is losing a child is obviously the worst thing that a parent can
Yeah.
ever go through. And, you know, I think that after that, if my mom had any reservations about, you know, anything, you know, she might have, like, been traumatized into doing so,
Yeah.
you know. And that might have been, like, the greatest gift I ever got was the fact that he'd passed. Another thing like that is, like, so I'm wearing a stupid knee brace right now, like, and I tore it playing ultimate frisbee, and you know I was listening to my dad last like Christmas. He was talking about like the Vietnam draft. He ended up getting like passed on like twice because of a similar injury that he sustained doing wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that crappy part of the genetics is the reason he's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You gotta
that-
hang in there for life.
That's what I'm
I think
saying.
that I guess that's my thing.
Well,
it's like okay. So
is
going
it
back to the
good or
gambling
is it
thing,
bad?
I think
Yeah.
here's what I don't like about gambling is that I'm in way too much control. You know what I mean? I
It's definitely your fault.
yeah, it's definitely my
yeah.
fault. But like with like gambling on life, you know what I mean? Gambling on life is like you're letting like it looks like not it doesn't look that cool. It doesn't cool's a dumb word. Scratch that. It doesn't look like much whenever you're looking at it like in its current state. But that you actually have less. You actually like they're like you're gonna do some things to influence it, but like they're also going the things you do to influence it. They will also take and they'll go do their own thing with it, and that's actually not in your control. And so like when I say gambling on life, they may take the fear of they may take the fear of rejection that you have in you, right? That they have too, because like, but they may do a totally different thing with that
Different
fear of
flavor
rejection.
Yeah. Well,
And they actually may overcome that fear of rejection in a way that you could not. And that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Well, that is individual, but it comes down to like a nature versus nurture
Right.
type of deal.
Yeah. As parents, parents have to know what's wrong with them. And what happens is if you don't know, your kids will show you what's wrong with you.
Yeah. Right. Then yeah, they will.
Because you'll see the things in your kids that you don't like about you that you've never been able to see.
Or you get to a certain age and they tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an STD with your face on it that
Right.
represent you if you keep up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like so at the Big Diamond Festival last year, it's this really interesting conversation with a comedian named Tim Smith. And he asked me, I was telling him about my kids, and he was like, do you have a child that like is exactly like you? And I was like, my firstborn son is exactly like he. And when he said that, what I took from it is like there are things in your firstborn son that he does that you don't like about you. And he was like, do you ever like? Does it cause you to like not like him? And I was like, isn't it messed up that like, yes, sometimes, but really those are things about me that I don't like. And if I hammer my child about like, why do you do this? And why do you do that? I'm actually yelling at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm really yelling at me. And he's like, why are you yelling at? He has no idea why it makes me so mad.
This is how things are, I thought.
He has no idea why I get so mad that like I'm kind of scatterbrained, and so
what's some shit that you do that pisses you off?
I can't keep track of anything.
You don't write shit down?
No.
You don't know where your keys are?
Yep.
You're wearing sweatpants right now?
Yeah.
How come you don't write shit down, Steven?
I don't know, because I get.
I got wrote down.
I know I don't write anything down.
You don't prepare for shit?
I don't prepare for anything.
Oh my gosh, you're just late to the test.
And neither does he.
Oh, he crushes it.
Neither does he.
He's improvising.
I'm like, Henry, where's your jacket? And he's like, oh,
I don't know.
oh no. Henry, you going outside today? It's 40 degrees outside. You were gonna wear pants? And he's like,
Yeah.
I can't find any pants.
Bam.
And I'm like, neither can I. Where are the pants?
See, this is what I wanted the podcast to be, but some people don't necessarily pick up on that. I wanted it to be a writing session, then I charge it $20.
Yeah.
But,
It is like, well, so like,
it could be.
So I think that like for me, I need the discussion. I think everybody does. It's not even just for me. I don't think people that think they don't need the discussion and they like they don't need the ranting and the raving with someone, and they're just gonna go like write stuff down. That's gonna be funny. Recording? Are we still going? Is it all right if I have another voodoo?
Yeah, no, we can do that.
Do you need one?
Did I really just lose that much of it?
I got you, dude. I'll go get you.
Oh my god. I tried to place marker and I pressed the space bar. God. Well, we missed half of it. Grab me one. Okay. Thank you.
But yeah,
Well, that's going to be a fun technical issue to deal with later.
hard to write things that are funny, just straight off the top,
What do you mean?
without talking about them first. That's what we were talking about. Like you were like, I want this to be like a writing session that I charge $20
But
for.
you got to explore all the notions that are in there. How do you distill it into like a sentence?
Yeah, but that comes after. That comes when you after you do that thing. After you have this kind of discussion.
Steven, maybe this is you know what else would benefit you from this is maybe like keeping a journal that you didn't tell anybody about.
I have a journal.
Oh, you do? Mm-hmm. Is it like an audio journal?
No, it's a written journal.
But you don't write things down.
No, I write things down. What I was saying was like, what I was saying is like I'm not a good planner. Like I'm not a good planner, not a good preparer. So I have like,
well,
I have people that I know in my life that like won't leave. They can't like it's the same people that like if there's a mess, they can't leave it there. You know, I can leave a mess there for a week before I'm like, all right, is someone going to clean this up?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of saying like, hey, are we sad?
Yeah. Like
why are we doing this?
Like at work, the biggest thing that I'm bad at work is like project management. I'm terrible at project management. It's like I had a job title as a project manager for years. And I was like, this is just me managing my own work. Like this is it. The problem with this is that none of this should have turned into a project. But because I'm here because of the unorganization, it's now this whole thing. The VPs are on. Like we've never had this happen before.
Well,
I do this thing at work where I start fires and then I put them out and then I'm like, hey, look what I did. And they're like, wow, great work.
I'm closer to like I know there are fires and I know when to put them out. And then I say like, who else could have done this?
I'm just kind of like, I developed like a wait and see. Like I don't get, so one thing that's come out of I'm like, even though I'm not a good planner and even though may not have everything figured out, I feel like it's going to be all right. Number 3. So that's how I've solved the whole thing.
Well, okay.
It's just optimism.
So it was Woodrow Wilson.
And not everything's that big of a deal.
Woodrow Wilson has a cool quote. Or maybe it was some other guy. I'm going to have to fact check.
I make everything.
Not pausing the feed.
I make everything into way big of a deal.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
You're a chick?
Yeah. In that way, for sure.
Well,
that's what my mom gave to me. She's like, gave me the ability to make everything a giant big deal.
Favorite quote I ever, well, my mom gave me that too. And she gave it to me so much that I just turned it all into white noise in the back of my head so I don't worry about anything. I feel like plans are just opportunities to be disappointed.
I just call myself a visionary. That's how I get around it.
That's
an optimistic visionary.
Unemployed motivational speaker. No, but no, like there's some people.
Stop trying to be someone who you're not, dude. That's basically what I'm saying.
Well,
you suck at it.
No,
I don't know. You suck at it.
I don't think it's that, dude. I think it's like know yourself. I think it's like, you know, I'm Steven. I don't know where my keys are. Mm-hmm. I always leave them in the same place. And then when they're not in the same place, then I have a panic attack. That's close to Conrad. Yeah. So I got a fanny pack, like a knife in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're more prepared than the worst prepared people. Like
that's not it. What it is like I went in with no plan whatsoever, and so much bad shit happened that I never want it to happen again. And now I'm prepared for that to happen again.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen. Like, that's what it is.
What I'd say is that like
the reason I bought a PA was because, like, I had a show where, like, it was at a barbecue competition on a flatbed trailer, and, like, the sound guy, a 68-year-old dude, ended up, like, unplugging my guitar from, like, the thing after we'd already, like, adjust, like, you know, the kick drum was scooting forward 1.5 inches every time the bass got kicked. And now we're doing, like, Twister and singing.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. And then the guy unplugged my guitar, and I thought for a moment, I'm going to kick this dude in the chest. And I don't want to think thoughts like that. So let's prepare for this inevitability.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to go to jail again. You know, that's not great.
Yeah.
Knowing yourself, Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know I will make the mistake first.
Absolutely.
That's
I'll do it twice, dude.
And so, like,
I'll do it 4 times.
I think what it is, I haven't actually had a ton of time. So one thing, I haven't had a very hard life. Number one. So
only child.
Yeah, only child. Well,
what?
two older brothers, but like 10 and 12 years older than me. So by the time we moved up here, I was only child.
Yeah, no, I mean I hear the gap is like 6.
Yeah, no, they're like, by the time that I was ready to go out into the world, my parents were like, you know what? Like, we're gonna like really build a shell around him. Like, we're gonna, like, my dad was like, okay, anything bad he does, I'm not gonna tell his mom about it because it might mess up what's going on. So like, I have this, so like growing up with like do bad things, but the consequences really aren't that bad, will make you a bad planner. Because you were like, well, you're like, it's fine, it's whatever. Who do I call when this breaks? Dad?
Help! Help!
Yeah. I'm a little baby.
So, I'm a huge baby.
I'm a huge baby.
So
I've been trying to work on that a little bit.
How do you try to raise your kids in lieu of that? If I could ask you.
Yeah. Well,
it's like, all right, I know they're like 8, 9, whatever.
One of them's 9.
So like when he goes to jail in 5 years.
Here's what I'll say to him.
Yeah. How long? Are you gonna be like let him hang out?
I'll be like, hey,
for a night.
I'll be like, hey,
or are you gonna be?
Your grandpa's gonna bail you out.
His grandpa's still alive?
Yeah, my dad's still alive.
How old's your dad?
Born in 1950, so he's 75.
And you're
34.
55?
34.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
My parents were old when they had me, dude.
Yeah, and they only went for 1.
My birthday's in November. So back that up 9 months. My birthday is November 16th.
So you're 55 years old on November 16th?
November 16th, I figured out not figured out. That makes me sound like an even bigger idiot. Based on the fact that I've already confessed that I'm not very smart because I don't gamble.
Well,
I'm not smart enough to gamble.
You're not dumb enough to gamble either.
Yeah, no, that's true. I know myself well enough to know not to gamble. So I didn't figure out that I was a Valentine's Day baby 2 years ago. I'm just going like, is that the last time my parents had sex?
I was a Thanksgiving baby. Well, don't ask questions you don't want the answers to.
That's right.
That's right.
It's weird because like my parents can still make me feel like a child.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that ever goes away.
Even though I'm 34 years old, they can still make me feel like a child.
Well, actually, I think it does eventually go away. I feel like I'm
when
pretty
they're
close
dead.
to that. No.
It goes away when they're dead.
Because there's different flavors to dead. There's almost dead.
Emotionally dead.
Nearly dead. Emotionally dead. Giving up on themselves, giving up on others. So many ways to die.
So we raise our kids
Presbyterian, snake hater,
Pentecostal.
I don't know what that means, but
you do. Like
I knew when to laugh.
So I'll tell you this: when I had Henry, my middle brother. He was like, hey man, do you guys go to church? And I was like, no.
For the Lord.
And he was like, you should really go to church. And I was like, can you pass the blunt? Like, why are you telling me this right now? Why are we having this conversation? And then he was like, because you have kids. So like, your kids will start to experience things that you're not equipped to handle. Church is a good place, man.
I mean,
I'm not a good endorsement for.
I wasn't booing church. I was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
When the guy gave good advice.
That was one of the things that we did was we joined a church, and that's helped raise our kids. Like it's
a community thing, yeah. No, I mean, I don't know.
It's full of hope.
I'm like one of these Catholic atheists.
Yeah.
Like did enough like hallucinogens that like.
You were like, this can't.
I don't know everything.
Yeah.
How could I?
Yeah. Do you think that there's like something that does know everything now?
Hope not. That'd be weird. No, man. But I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I told someone the other day, like when we were talking about that, and they were like,
"Is it hungry?"
A friend of mine was like, he's like, I just think that at the end of my life, I'm gonna have like enough. Like I just feel like if you're a good person and you tally up your whole life, and you have more you have more green checks than you have more red X's, then like you should be good. And I was like, Oh man,
Seems like a terrible way to go through life.
I'll tell you what, man. Here's
Just keeping score the whole time.
I know, like,
no, dude.
and I told him I was like,
I'm with you on the planning thing. That guy's just planning on being disappointed.
He's
You know, I've heard. Okay, I've had some dead friends. Like, not that I don't want to revisit it, but, well, I mean, here we go. You know, Keith. I watched Keith Terry.
Yes.
So, like,
Comedian?
I watched him get zapped back to life with the paddles in the ER, jump 2 feet off the table.
What'd he say? How long was he dead for?
The first thing he said was, "I'm sorry."
I hear that when people die, they raise their hands in the air.
Well, it was more, I was trying not to, like, pay attention to the piss and the shit everywhere. Because that's something that happens too.
It does happen.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I was just like, man, I was like, that is, I hope that's not how it works. Because I don't think there's ever been a person alive that's ever come out of life with more green checks than red X's.
Well, I guess, I don't know. That could be regular good old Catholic guilt. I mean, I don't know. What do you count as a red X? I mean, I don't know. Okay.
Good thing you don't have to count.
Well, I don't count.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention. Like, I don't know when the first time I ever did stand up.
So Keith died, and he said, when he came back, he said, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, he f***ed up the show. You know? He's a professional. You know?
Sorry to the crowd. Sorry, guys.
Well, it's the booker.
You guys hated that joke so bad it killed me.
Well, different. But I don't know. I think that, like, after me poking him in the foot, making jokes about, "Damn, Keith, you got all these wires sticking out of your chest. You got Wi-Fi in that thing." Like,
yeah.
I think that one of the things that's, like, central for people like us, dudes specifically, to be happy is some kind of purpose, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, and that's, you know, this is the half Catholic part talking. It's like, I'm not going to shit on something that does a net good for stuff. I mean, like, if people need that flavor of hope to get out of whatever it is that they're in, then who am I?
Yeah.
Well,
like, what I think about is, like, so people often, like, their issue, if they have an issue with God, I feel like it's like they have an issue with people. They have an issue with people's interpretation of everything. Like, we talked about it. It was
actually,
like,
no,
it was like,
that's actually central to,
I was like, dude, I totally understand that people have used the Bible to control and subjugate entire populations.
Hold on, let's back it up further than that. All right?
Yeah.
Just the interpretation. All right? If you were to talk to a thing that was all knowing and all being and all seeing and everything, and everything, you know, then, like, how would you be able to communicate that to a mortal human being without sounding like an asshole? And then if you were even close to right and people bought it, how would that not turn into, like, I don't know, Herbalife? Or...
It does. No, it does. Because we're bad at it. We're so bad at it.
Because that's what happened. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know? And that's, you know, that's like...
Well, if you
put our tinfoil hats all the way on.
So if you believe the Bible, then, like, the Bible starts out with there's a God, and he sort of entrusts people,
and he's bored.
He sort of entrusts people, right? And he's like, take over the earth.
Ahead.
He's like, take over the earth, right? And in a way, like, we because we're like God, we try to be our own gods. And we're bad at being our own gods. Even if it looks like we're, like, gonna be, even if it looks like we're good gods for a while, eventually we turn into horrible bad gods.
No, I don't think that's the case.
I think it's the case.
You sound like a Jehovah's Witness. I think that
people want to be their own gods, dude.
The most consistent, well, they are. That's the whole message behind the whole thing.
Yeah, you are.
Is that, like, heaven is a place that you can build, and hell is too.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? This is not the turn that I wanted to take, but, like, the most consistent...
We'll get back to the comedy.
The most...
in a second.
The most consistent, like, sense-making thing I heard, like, as far as like what God is like was from this guy who worked at the University of Tulsa. He was like a cook,
Yeah.
like contracted by some other company.
Yeah.
This guy had like 5 teeth.
Uh-huh.
He was a Baptist. He said the only thing that's consistent with the creation theory is that, if the universe is all being and everything that can observe it is all seeing, then that's consistent with this all seeing, all being God, is that we're part of it.
Yeah.
That we, without things to observe that it exists, and he was basically arguing that like light is, what God is. Not just that, but like the observers within it.
Yeah.
So like, if you take all that under the same umbrella of like all of creation, then it's like, well, I guess that makes sense.
I think if you analyze it too much, you actually will end up in a spot where like you convince yourself that like it's not real.
Well, I think where people get in trouble is whenever you smoke the burning bush or whatever.
Yeah.
And you see something otherworldly.
Yeah.
And
but there is otherworldly things.
Sure, but trying to explain them to people that are just designed to go find food and find their way home, hopefully, before getting eaten by a tiger, that's a tough putt.
It is.
And you tend to sound like a maniac.
Yeah.
Whenever you try to explain exactly what that is. Now, despite that, on the other hand,
it's actually like if like the actual message is anti-survival. It's actually the message is like, don't protect yourself from the lion that's going to eat you.
Well, it's like, that's why I'm convinced it's like there's a secret club in the Vatican where everybody does mushrooms, and they're like, yeah, dude, we just got to tell people this. So
Mushroom of the Cross?
No,
have you read that?
Just well, I don't know.
I never read that. Joe Rogan's read it, though.
Evidently, yeah. I have a fanny pack. I know karate. I'll kick you in the head. No.
But yeah, no, it's
But thing about fungi is fascinating too, because it's its own animal kingdom. It's not like
it's weird that there's things
plants.
in this. It's weird that there's things in the earth that we can consume that like alter our deals, like alter our.
Well, it's not just that. It's weird that there's a thing on the planet that changes the way that everything does that. Because like fungus, like that's how trees exchange nutrients.
Yeah.
Like there's parasitic versions of that, and then there's cooler versions of that. There's poisonous mushrooms. There's fun ones.
Mm-hmm.
You either build or you destroy. What kind of okay, if you're flying into, you ever been on an airplane with your 4 kids?
Yes.
Okay, where'd you go?
Florida, Jacksonville, to see my family.
All right, what did it look like coming down?
Small to big.
I mean, small to big.
Like you're up high.
Couldn't
and
see
you
shit.
can't see anything, and then you come down.
Nice natural colors.
And then
you come down, and
then all of a sudden you're in the Jacksonville airport.
Everything turns gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that not like mold? I mean, like that's
Like as you get into it, you realize that it's
like from far away enough, it looks like we're a cancerous speck on the thing.
Yeah.
And then like every dark, tendril transferring nutrients. Is killing the host. I mean, I'm not the only person.
I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah, like from far enough away. I mean, like that's what I think we are.
Yeah.
And it's like we're some kind of like fungus in denial, or I mean, I don't know.
They're just like whoever's man. It's like just do what you're supposed to do. Stop asking questions.
Well, right, and that's where like, do you think that free will is a real thing?
Yes.
You do.
Oh, 100%.
You don't think that just okay?
I know that free will.
It's interesting to come from you because you sound like you're the guy who puts himself in a position of desperate need without knowing what the f- he needs to do, and the only thing that you can do is what you end up doing.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how that's different from free will?
That I've decided to not be preprepared for something. I could. No,
but,
I decide there was a moment. There There was a moment in which I could have planned, and I could have gotten the bags together.
It was now.
I could have gotten the bags together. I could have gotten the bags
up and jumped into the room.
I could have gotten the bags together last night. We could have looked for the shoes. We could have looked for everything that we're all stressed out about this morning last night.
That's what I do.
But I wanted to go to sleep instead because I was really tired. My free will was to go to sleep. Yeah.
I don't have time to do laundry, but I have to do laundry.
And I'm not gonna.
And I'm gonna do it, but I'm not gonna do it with enough time to like fold the laundry. I'm just gonna throw it out on the couch and then
I'm gonna make the free will decision to stand here for 30 minutes and find anything else to do rather than what I'm supposed to do. Because I should be doing that thing. If I didn't have free will, then I would be like, I have to do this.
Do you not feel good when you do that though?
Yeah, it feels amazing in the moment. But I should have delayed. I should have delayed.
And then later, you're like, shit.
But think about that's what I mean when I say that I'm like a child. No, it is because like you're supposed to do a certain thing.
I know the negative outcome.
You're supposed to do
what's
it.
about to happen, and
but I'm choosing to do it.
No,
I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah, and it's not a habit.
That is free will, 100%.
It's not a pattern.
No, it's not. It is. That's exactly what it is.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's totally free will.
It is.
All right, yeah.
Why is it not?
I don't know.
Why is it not free will?
Because it's not very thoughtful.
Yeah, free will. That's free thought. We're talking about free will.
Yeah,
you're talking about my willingness to be lazy
do whatever
is
the neurons
stronger.
in my gut say.
Yeah.
I'm listening to your shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose.
I'm gonna watch that Netflix video.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bed till 4 in the morning.
And in church they call that flesh versus spirit.
Huh.
They call that your flesh. So it ultimately becomes
stupid bacteria.
Yep. 100%.
Salt, sugar.
Yeah. Dopamine. Give it to me. I don't want to deal with this right now.
So they're just talking about discipline.
Yep.
So you're not disciplined.
No. Cameron Carter has a Cameron Carter has told me that I have no self-control, and he's so right. I have none.
You seem pretty tame for a guy with no self-control.
Specifically lack of self-control in certain areas. Then I'll say that. Like I would never do certain things, but I'll totally do some things.
What's the difference? You realize that like that's how you could hack your own. And
yeah, I could get up a little earlier, but
because you're scared of blank.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But it's not so scary that I can't just manage.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways,
people tend not to change until
something bad happens.
Well, until they absolutely have to. Yep.
Procrastination. Everything's fine. It's not that bad. I can deal with this. It's been worse. Your will is so strong.
Yeah, I know. We're just doing a show with a 3-foot ladder right now. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, everything's fine. This is actually the most fun I've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I was gonna say something about being married. What was it? I've been married for 10 years.
10 years.
10 years. And it's
Since
not
22?
24.
Whoa.
24. We got married. So here's a free will example for you. I should have
15 kids.
I should have whenever Lauren and I after college moved to Bentonville. I moved to Bentonville. Came back home because I had nothing to do. There's nothing to do in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Right.
There's nothing there.
Right.
So I came back here, and Lauren followed me. And we should have gotten married. Right, we should have gotten married because we've been together for like 7 years. Right?
At 24.
Yeah.
Since you were
no, not 7.
13.
No, 7 years from 24 is no, not 7. But we had been together for
a long time.
We got together when she was 18 and I was 20.
Pedophile.
19
right.
Or 20. Yeah. So by the time we got married, we had been together for 5-6 years. And like we were living together and we should have gotten married, but I had just gotten a job. And so what I did instead, because she was already here, and there was really no incentive to get married, because that's the problem with, like, it's not a problem, but like that's the new way of like relationships today is like, Marco Antonio has a bit about like, how do you know someone until you've had sex with them? You know what I mean? Like, how do you get married without having sex with them first? Whereas the actual like typical marriage scenario is that you haven't had sex yet, right? That's the thing, right? So we don't live in that society. Only some people do, and we call them weird whenever they wait. But anyways, like, Lauren and I should have gotten married, and we didn't, because my reasoning was like, well, she's already here, and like I'm being an immature person, and I just have this job. I just got a job, started my career, and instead of buying an engagement ring, I bought a TV and an Xbox. And 3 months later, we were pregnant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were living together, and it was so funny because like now we have to get married, right? So like now I'm like, who do I call about this? Who do I call about this? And I'll skip the part where like, it's another story for another time. But like, we found out we were having the kid, so like, the first thought was, oh my gosh, what do we do? The second thought was, hey, actually, we've been together for a long time and we can do this. This isn't a big deal. We love each other. Let's get married. So like, oh, fuck me. Where was I? Like, it's responsibility. It's like, I should have made the right decision to get married when we moved up here together to Bentonville. We should have gotten married, right? But we didn't. I delayed it because I was like, well, whatever. And we ended up with Henry, right? And like, the rest is kind of history. But like, I don't know where I was going with this. We can cut this whole thing, I guess. I don't know, man. Like, it's like,
talking about responsibility.
Yeah. Doing the right thing. Didn't do it. Yeah, free will was like, we'll do the other thing.
And then you're like...
And then the consequences force us to make a certain decision. And like...
And that's free will?
And that's free will, dude.
Consequences.
No, not consequences. The decision to not...
Acknowledge the consequences.
The decision to be like, I know the right thing to do, but I'm not going to do it because I'd rather do this other thing that's for me. Like, it's totally for me.
So you did something that wasn't for you. I would say... That's a pretty fair argument.
It was for us. It was like
it took a very long time. I felt like you were gonna cry.
Yeah.
Towards the middle, beginning and end of that, but like, no,
we almost made a terrible decision and like.
And got married too soon.
No, and like.
Did yeah.
That's what I mean.
Can't say that on YouTube.
No.
Oh.
But that's the first thing that came to. That's the first. That is the first thing that came to our minds. Was like, oh my God, we have to. This wasn't supposed to happen.
I've heard that before.
You know what I mean? And so I guess my point is that like when you find someone, when you love someone, and like you guys are like clearly doing life together, right? You should make an official commitment about that thing and like actually do it, and then
get tax benefits.
Yes. You should just be smart. Like, what are you doing? You're gambling against what you're doing.
That's right. Yeah.
Give yourself some assurity.
Gamble 4 more times. I'm gonna use the bathroom.
Yeah, use the bathroom. I'll think about what I was gonna say about that. Maybe we're gonna replace it with something else.
Flash closed. We're back.
Yeah. I don't know where we were going with that last thing. We were talking about free will, and let's pivot.
It was like, yeah, well, it got a little quasi-spiritual.
It did get quasi-spiritual. That's okay. It's been on my mind. It's been on my mind. I wasn't trying to. Sometimes I do things, and I'm like, you know what? What do they want to hear? But then I'm like, you know what? Anytime I do that, it's always terrible.
Yeah, no, I think that's counter to what you actually. Well, okay, so
kind of what I actually care about.
Well, I think
comes off scripted and authentic.
I think the best thing that you can do is just, do whatever you care about and do it well enough that, because if you're doing that, like what you care about, then like you already see the value in it.
Yeah.
The bet is whether or not other people will see the value in it too.
Yeah.
And eventually, they might.
I think one thing that I don't, or not that I don't, but like just that's hard to see is like we talked about it a little bit the other day, but like the longevity of what it is that we're doing, and like so you keep doing the same thing, right? And okay,
Right.
so here you are. So you have this thing you want to talk about, and you have this perspective. So you just go and do it, and like if it's comedy, and you're giving your perspective, and like say like you abort your own perspective because they're like, oh, they hate it, like this crowd right here individually in this moment doesn't like my perspective, so you abort that thing, right? But if you do this for a long time and you keep being authentic to yourself, eventually you are going to either one, find the people that relate to you and only perform for them, right?
Well,
That's your audience. Or two, like you get your perspective such that it is relatable to anybody.
well, I think that the thing that's cool about comedy I think the thing that's the most cool about comedy is that like it's never anything other than reality as it is
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Like there's no like it's how you're doing right now. Like moment to moment,
Yeah.
like second to second, you know, what's the next thing you're going to say? What's coming up next? It has nothing to do like whatever you're doing in that moment has nothing to do with who you were prior or who you're supposed to be in the future. It's like what people are responding to now.
Yeah.
And that's why I like comedy more than I like painting, more than I like music, is because it's you're either doing it or you're absolutely not,
Yeah.
or and then somewhere in between. But like you're either being understood, you're communicating effectively, you're presenting your point in a way
Yeah.
that should be good for these folks, or it's not working.
But that doesn't mean that you should stop talking about what you care about. And I think for me personally,
That's not what I was.
that's where like
I'm not saying. Well, I'm saying that like you're not supposed to do that. But like if you're not doing if you're not doing that, if you're talking about stuff that amuses you, just you, then you're going to find out if it works or if it doesn't, if your idea is valid or if it's not. And you're going to find out immediately. Like,
yeah.
yeah, like, and if it doesn't, I'm not saying that it's shame on you. You should have done whatever everybody else liked. I'm saying that you have to go back to the editing board.
Yep.
And figure out how to make that more,
Yeah. You shouldn't
refine that so that you can.
when you mix that with like okay, well, like I got to do something, right? And so then you're like so like what happens to me, and it's happening, it happens less, but like especially like where I started, I had like all of these, again, not that long. I consider myself still just starting. Right. So I'm still learning this whole lesson of like, don't abort.
It's been a couple years now.
Yeah, it's been a couple years. Right. But like, if you think about like where I've been, I haven't really been anywhere but here. So I'm like, but
well,
like,
how are you going to do that without?
But like, if you, so I'll get into these modes where I'm like, well, no one cares about what I want to say. So I must have to talk about this other topic that's totally like something that I think that like they're going to think is funny. Like if you wrote a song, could you imagine if you wrote a song for like the crowd and not wrote a song about based on what's happened to you?
Well, let me.
That'd be the worst song.
Let me tell you about what happened at the Kava Bar on Thursday.
Okay.
So there's a crowd of 7 people. It's only 7 people. It's all comedians.
This is a couple days ago.
Yeah. And I go up there, and all right. Well, here's a group of people that's seen everything I've ever done.
Yeah.
Here's a guy. Here's a bunch of folks that know all my jokes.
Yeah.
And I still got to get them. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
It isn't to do whatever I think they'd want to hear. It was to go inward and actually like get intimate and tell them details and things about myself in a way that made it so I could cope with them.
Right.
And it's not stuff that I'd normally do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're throwing a football through a hoop and it's moving. It's like you gotta every crowd is, and I've made that mistake spectacularly. Normally it's like my sets either go well or spectacularly fail. And when they fail, it's when I need them to do well.
I love that you keep punching though. Like you keep punching.
I'm not gonna.
The thing that the clean open mic that Joe
You
does.
really don't like me?
That one that Joe did where it was just us and there was just those two people in the crowd. And you just
I didn't swear.
dude, you kept swinging though. Like you did not abort the topic you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like you just kept and you just kept going like deeper and deeper into the
I wrote
thing
about it.
that they were like.
Why are you doing
They
that?
were like offended, but like even if they were,
We're still watching.
that would not have stopped you.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so there's levels to bombing. Okay, right?
Tell me about this, because
So like the worst that you can do is to get your ass kicked in the parking lot.
right,
That's never happened to me.
right,
Shortly under that is like getting something thrown at you. I've had that. You know, somewhere between there and silence is both your ex-girlfriends showing up for a shitty show. That sucks. Both. Two of them.
yeah. Bragging, you're bragging now.
Yeah, I'm Mormon. And then like you know, silence is above somebody talking during your set, is above multiple people talking over your set, which is above one person screaming at you high on meth
Yeah.
during your set.
The silence is like they're just trying to get it. If they're talking, then you've lost them. That does
Well,
suck.
no, the silence thing is like you gotta look and see if they're looking at you.
Yeah.
Because if they're looking at you, waiting, same way you are, you want to feel nervous, and that's fine. That's normal. But like they're waiting on you.
Yeah.
There's a level of respect to that that's different than like getting tomatoes thrown at you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you still got them.
Yeah.
And maybe they're all on antidepressants.
Yeah.
Because it's a college town.
I think it's like,
You know?
I think what I was getting earlier is like when I talk about the longevity, like my goal, when you're like, what's your goal in comedy? And my goal in comedy
Never retire.
is to be doing it a long time.
Right.
Doing it a long time. So like, I'm not in a huge rush, right? It's fine.
Well, you hear about Ron White, right? So like Ron White, like, you know, his big break was the Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
Yeah.
He'd been doing comedy 17 years before that.
Right.
After then, he had all that 17 years to go around tour on. About like 4 albums, maybe 5. Then he started, you know,
Yeah.
tequila business.
Imagine if he
after
would have
quit drinking.
Imagine if he would have stopped because of one bad crowd. You're gonna see a million. I think that's what I was saying earlier. Is like the reason why you can't go crowd to crowd, right? You can't like take this performance for this crowd and be like, that sucked. I need to talk about other stuff.
Well, I mean, like, if you say the N word 5 times in a row, then that's not great.
That's not really a fear for me. I'm never gonna do that.
You might.
You're like,
You don't know.
do it 10 years
You
and
don't
know, me
know,
what
yeah.
you think.
Right.
That's very true. There's a lot. There's truth
does
to
look
that.
fun.
There's truth. There's truth to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like I want to be doing it a long time. And so because of that, like I'll anytime that you ever see me go up there and not do well, it's and like what the incident. You know what I mean? Like that is.
Incident?
Yeah.
It happened one time?
I know, but like just the way that I felt, like that feeling that I felt is a feeling that I've felt before, and that feeling comes from me not being myself and me trying to oh my God, what am I going to say? I have to say something that maybe, let's see if I can read her mind real quick
I remember.
and say something that connects with her. And because that's impossible, right?
No, it's not impossible.
But it's hard to do.
I can do the opposite of that.
It's hard to do.
I could stick my foot in my mouth better than anybody I've ever met.
Try to force your material into her mind or his mind to make it like they already don't get it.
I mean, that's
they already
obvious.
don't get it.
Obviously, it's hard. That's why I'm saying that it is more gratifying to do that
Yeah.
than it is to, like, I could write a song, right, and I'd sing it, and it's all the same work as jokes, except they don't have to be funny,
Yeah.
And then 8 months,
Pressure relieved.
and then I hate right. Provided you can sing, kids, and I can, but
Yeah.
no, excuse me, I got uncomfortable being a douchebag. Drummer comes up to you 8 months after practicing it, like, that's what that song is about?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're making a painting, right? And the person, that walks up to you at the flea market or whatever, oh, the color purple represents your insecurity. And I'm like, how'd you know that? $20. And then,
Yeah.
you either make the sale or you don't. Like, once you make a work like that, especially a painting, then the interpretation of it is equally as valid as whatever amount of work that you put in.
Yeah. It just keeps going. It
And
like
the
kind
only
of sort
way-
of lives forever in that way.
Well, yeah. And then the only way that comedy works is if people are laughing or not,
Yeah.
And the only way that's going to happen is, are they thinking what I'm thinking the way that I'm thinking it?
Yeah.
And it's really hard.
It is hard. But
There's like a bunch of, I don't know, there's a bunch of cheap tricks that you can do that take years to learn. Like looking at people, not being nervous,
being uncomfortable,
smiling.
being comfortable in the uncomfortability is hard.
being vulnerable,
Not
authentic.
talking. How about not talking?
Yeah, like letting the silence be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because, like, the silence isn't them hating you. It's just silence.
But how many times, like, but initially, in your first few silences, you are convinced that they hate you.
Totally. No, I mean, that's part of the process.
You drive home going like, they hate me.
They hated me. Really
They're
did.
thinking about me right now, and they're not, but it feels like they are.
No, but they're not.
They're not.
And that's the other thing is, like, every big break that I've ever had, as it pertains to comedy, has been followed by some unspeakable tragedy.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't care anymore. I don't, because I don't, who knows?
That lets you keep up. That lets you go up there and keep swinging.
Well, I also know that, like, none of these motherfuckers in town are going to book me. That's pretty freeing, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say, yeah.
All of us
I
are-
actually don't give a shit.
The
Yeah, like, oh, I'm not pretending that this guy's cooler than me.
I'm definitely living
Oh, I'm not. He asked me for the sound system, and I'm probably not.
I'm definitely under the slavery of being booked.
Yeah, I know. What a puss you are for not having $500 and a goddamn microphone. Look at all my shit. Look at my shit.
Yeah.
That's my. Yeah, sorry.
This is your show.
I
dude.
paid for only some of it.
This is your show.
Actually, that is that's a repurposed spotlight for some vape advertisement. I figured out if you pull the front out that's been hot glued in there, then you have a pretty decent. Well, not a decent, but like you've got a way too powerful, way too small spotlight.
Yeah. Is this doing anything? It's shining on the ceiling.
I've figured out that like the more texture we got in terms of like the more light there is, better.
Yeah.
Because like then I can make it.
Yeah.
And then the production like quality that we're going for this show is actually pretty low. I mean, it's just it needs to look like us and sound good.
Yeah.
And this is going to be better than it ever sounds.
Oh yeah.
And it's probably going to be the one time that I ever do this because you mentioned. I love
God.
how you do it. Oh, we're doing the Joe Rogan set tonight. Yeah. Full fucking goosenecks.
I was watching Joe Rogan for a little while. I haven't watched him in a while.
Yeah, I don't know.
Every show's kind of the same.
That's
I don't want to talk shit on Joe Rogan.
eventually
on your
what
pod,
it comes
but,
down to. Well, I don't know how you do that without it becoming the same.
I can't.
Like that's kind of the problem.
I
with
wish
this
I
show
had a
is, like,
podcast
I don't
that
know what
was-
the hell this thing. Well,
I wish I had one so large that people were like, I hate that show.
right. Well, then you're in like Drake territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one beef that I had no. That was my like when the Super Bowl halftime show happened and all of that.
The most expensive diss
I
track in
did
history.
I did not get any of that. Someone had to explain it to me the day after.
Yeah, I could imagine how. A honky with a basketball team. Well, you have your kids explain
Two
it to you.
basketball, a basketball team family, and then I have an actual basketball
Have the
team.
Asian kid tell you. Yeah. He
was
could break it down.
Dude, I just want to do right by them. Like I told someone the other day, I was like, dude, they're like, almost like
Better than me.
they're good enough to where I don't want to bore them, and they're like, I don't know how to. Well, I'm figuring out how to like. I have a good assistant.
That's how I.
I have a good assistant.
It's been me my entire life.
Yeah.
How am I not bored?
Yeah.
I figured it out. Took a while.
Yeah.
Drove me nuts because you have shitty jobs where you're just.
Yeah.
But I figured out how to do something with that time.
I realized for me, like there was the work from home thing, and now everyone's sort of back at work. I don't like working from home. Like I need to like go in and like just experience the people. Like that's like
I'm 50-50.
it gives me the energy that I need to get through the day.
What I'll do most mornings is like I'll write down a list of shit that I want to do. And then every person that comes into my life between then getting done and not tends to put a stick in my ass.
Like I've kind of had jobs where I've been isolated. Like any job that's like I'm in a corner alone on a computer, I never do well at that job.
See, I live for that shit.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I can do if you just leave me the alone.
Yeah.
Let me show you what I can do if you give me the reins of this one,
If you leave me alone,
I've got multiple examples.
If you leave me alone with something and it's not a video game, it'll still be in the same spot that it was when you left me. Like I have so I used to work at this ranch, and my job on the ranch, the thing I was hired for was to build a barbed wire fence, right? And so like,
how long was the fence?
It was long. It was like all the way up a hill.
Like a quarter mile?
Yeah, we'll call it a quarter mile.
Yep.
So like
about 1,600 meters for the listeners at home.
Yeah.
Bryce.
So the guy, he
2,000 cartwheels.
So he leaves me with like he rolls out the string, right?
Yep.
And it's all it's all the way up the hill, and he shows me like a couple of them, and then he leaves and goes to like the cattle auction or whatever. So so I'm just there with my T-post pounder, and I start hammering posts in the ground, right? And then I'm like, this is probably straight, right? Like the whole time I'm doing it, I'm like, if it's not straight, I don't really know what I'm gonna do about it. Like there's no way. And I'm noticing that there's fence posts.
So you know that you fucked up
that are
as
on,
you're doing it.
and I just keep going.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is probably fine. I get all the way, I hammer in the last post, and I look back, and it is, the line.
Just teeth.
Oh, God, dude, it's like all the way around, right? And I'm just like, maybe the barbed wire, when you tighten it, it'll bring everything a little bit forward.
It's your ignorance.
And I'm going like, he's going to come back at some point. What am I going to do?
I did.
The previous day, he taught me how to drive the tractor, right? And we were pulling up these posts from somewhere else, right? And the chain rig was still on the thing. And so he's gone. So I go up to the barn and I start this tractor up, and I'm driving down the track, and that's when he pulls up.
You're your own stuff.
And then he pulls up
with the barbed wire on it.
No, the barbed wire's not on it yet.
Okay,
just the poster in the ground. But the poster, I tried to pull one of them out. You can't pull that out of the ground. And so like, he comes up, and it's like he told me to pound some posts in the ground, and now I'm driving down the hill with the tractor.
Yeah, you are outside of the realm.
I'm way above my pay grade at this point. Like,
you're burning.
I'm trying to cover up something that I did, and he just looks at me like, and I'm at this point, I'm in college. Like I'm educated. Like I'm educated, and he's just like, what in the?
Like, why are you?
Boy, you dumber. What they teaching you over there, man? You dumber and shit, ain't you? And I was just like, I didn't. We didn't write it down. You didn't write it down.
I didn't study for the class.
There was no textbook on this. What are you talking about?
Driving posts down.
I'll tell you what. That experience right there is like my family was very much like everyone's going to college. I don't know why they were like that.
Yeah.
But like I was going to college either way. With my kids, dude, if my kid don't want to go to college, I'm not making.
Firstborn, bro? No, we're gonna break his back.
I'm not
He'll fall
making
off
him
a
go
ladder,
to
dude.
college.
Yeah, he could be a roofer.
Here's a T-post pounder. We're gonna do this fence. I'm gonna give him the fence
You're
test.
gonna fix all your past mistakes.
He's gonna be a plumber and a successful
He's
one.
gonna live like you're gonna live vicariously through your son who can use a tape measure.
That's right, because I can't use one.
No, I don't know what the hell's going on.
My toolbox in my garage has just been open. It looks like my sock drawer. You know what I mean? It's just
There's socks in
overflowing.
it?
It's like overflowing.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's just everything's there's underwear in the sock drawer. There's
Yeah.
there's like socks that I'll never. You know what I mean? Like
can't
that's what my toolbox looks like. It looks like an overflowing drawer of. It looks like a junk drawer in your
I'm
kitchen.
not gonna let you into my girlfriend's room.
No, this is my toolbox that I'm supposed to use to fix
This is
things
where
around
I
the
live.
house. Right?
This is where I go when
that
Mom
toolbox
makes me
is.
solutions oriented.
That toolbox, all it says is that a man lives here. It doesn't say that he can fix anything. It just says that,
Nowhere on anything.
it just says that a man lives here. There's just wrenches of various sizes.
That's good. That's good. I bet I could outman you in my
Oh,
garage.
you could. I'm not a man
I
when
got
it
like
comes to
2
that.
jacks.
I'm not a man.
Yeah.
I'm really not. Like I'm a
A grown boy.
yeah, I'm a grown boy. Yeah, it's bad.
Well, I think we're at an hour and a half on this one.
Are
you going to get in trouble if you hang out here any longer?
No, I'm cool. I told her I'd be home around 8:15. It's 7. It's 8 right now.
8 right now?
I'll probably leave a little bit.
Wow, shit.
I'll have to leave a little bit after this, but I can hang out for a second. You
Man,
know what I
a little bit
mean?
of trouble.
Oh, I won't be in trouble. There's
All right.
what trouble am I going to be in?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, where are any of us going?
That's true.
None of us are going anywhere.
Yeah.
And that is a funny joke about how like my wife and I both are like anytime that like
You're not leaving, right?
I'm just like, dude, that's not happening. I don't even know who to call to leave.
Right. Half of what?
You can't have the air fryer. That's my favorite thing
Well,
in
I
here.
get half of the toaster. I like the right side.
I'm taking one of the air fryer racks. There's 2 of them. I'm taking. That would be the most pathetic haul.
Split up the spoons, babe. I get 4 of them. You get 4 of them.
That would actually make it harder for her to find a new husband. You know what I mean? Just like
The pending litigation. Yeah. It's like, yeah. No, I got to go back to court for
I want the glass.
plastic.
I'm leaving him with the plastic mixing bowls. I'm taking the glass ones.
Whoa. My mom gave us. I know. I got a bit that never works about paying alimony to your roommate.
She'd murder me before she divorced me. I guess is my point. You know what I mean?
That's the Catholic way.
Yeah. We don't believe in divorce, but murder happens out of passion. That is something we believe in.
Second degree, even though you think about it every day.
There's no record of me planning this.
Sometimes you just choose wrong, and then you're just, yeah. No, it's just prayers.
That's right.
Yep, and that's between us and the Lord. Thank you for joining us tonight on Connie's Untitled Nighttime Talk Show. This is my host, Stephen Reed. Yeah, I don't know. I do these whenever I feel like it. This is probably going to be the most producing that I do for one of these ever. Unless I bang the next guest. Thank you, Stephen, for coming on.
Hey, I love you guys. Watch Conrad's show every time it comes up. He has the local comedians on.
I host an open mic every Monday at Waste Down Pizza. My name is Conrad Lensmeyer. Signing off. Thank you. Don't ride a memory.
Thanks for letting me come over and do this. I wanted to get on here again. It's fun to talk. And it's uncomfortable too because I